I'm Dan Bates, President and CEO, Greater Hamilton Chamber of Commerce, and welcome to State of the City. Tonight, your pride for Hamilton will swell as we recap and expand many of the projects and developments that you may already be aware of. But in addition, plant your feet firmly on the ground, fasten your seatbelts, because you're taking a trip into the future as you get a view of what's coming. And it's going to be exciting future for Hamilton. Tonight will be facilitated, this trip will be facilitated by our mayor and our city manager. I couldn't be more excited to be in this great city of ours at this time. And you are all part of a movement that will be reflected upon for decades to come. So let's get started. I want to bring our presenting sponsor, Kettering Health Hamilton, and bring to the podium Paul Hoover, who is the president of Kettering Health Hamilton, for some welcoming remarks.
Wow, they put me at the beginning and I have to, lead up to these great guys. I'll try to do my best. Again, I'm Paul Hoover and I am so proud to be here. I'm honored to be here because I feel like in a very small way, we are part of the transformation that's taking place here in this community. I see it when I go running out in the community. Thank you for not hitting me with your car, Sammy. And Hamilton, over the last 10 years that I have been around, has seen an immense transformation, and it's because of you, this incredible community. Every day at Kettering Health Hamilton, we are taking workplace culture and safety to a whole new level. We are expanding our team and our workforce to bring dedicated professionals to our community to live, work, and play. We're elevating standards for safer care at the hospital and bringing the latest in cutting-edge technology. Just in this past year, let me tell you about a couple things that we've done, and then I'll get out of the way, because I know we want to hear from a couple of pretty cool folks. We bought the latest in surgical technology for orthopedics, minimally invasive surgery. What does that mean? Less pain, faster recovery, and the most advanced surgery, bar none, right here in Hamilton, Ohio. Brand new beds, okay? I don't know about you, but a good night's sleep matters. And these are not sleep numbers. These are much more expensive than your sleep number, your Tempur-Pedic, but we got all new hospital beds, which are much more comfortable and they're much safer. And lastly, we're expanding our physician offerings here in the community, and it is so much fun. We've created wellness programs, and we've expanded our partnership with our partners at Miami University with WorkPlus, growing the future Hamiltonians for generations to come, and we are so proud. So I mention all of this because Kettering Health Hamilton and the entire city of Hamilton is bursting with all kinds of innovation, ingenuity, and an incredible passion that gives our city a rich history and points to our community's great future. And that is why I'm certainly humbled to call this place home. So I get the privilege to introduce our next speaker. So we're going to try this a bit different. No, you don't get to come up yet. Some say he was the model for the bust of Billy Yanks. Yeah. Others say he's the best mayor in Hamilton's history. All I know, he is Pat Mueller, Mayor, Hamilton, Ohio.
Good evening, and thank you to the Chamber of Commerce, Marriott, TV Hamilton. City Manager Joshua Smith has a great economic development presentation for you. I'm going to discuss something a little bit different. I'm going to talk about people development and pathways, because economic development and people development, that does result in job creation and job retention. Now, this is a 1911 Hamilton Evening Journal News headline. Some things about Hamilton worth knowing and worth having all the world know. This is 1911. We were the greatest manufacturing city in proportion to population in 1911. We had the greatest, largest safe-making center. We had the largest coating paper company. We had the largest machine shop. We had the largest coreless engine shop. But our pathway to our success now, and yes, there is success now, is manufacturing, service industry, and quality of life. And to quote Joe Burrow again, world, it is us. And they're going to find out more and more about us. Now, we have amazing students, okay? We really do. Ridgeway Elementary School students on the left, they advised the city on how to improve the area around their schools, streetlights, crosswalks. And you know what? That mission got accomplished by the city and by the students at Ridgeway. Also, that the Safe Routes to School, the Safe Walks to School program has been very, very successful. On the right up there, you see Hamilton High School and Baden students. They're the Civics Day 2023 City Council. And they're going to be advising us on council how to improve our city, which is their city. And I got to also add, there's a lot of football success in this city right now with Baden High School and Hamilton High School. All right, let's talk pathways. This is Chris Cannell on a pathway to his lunch. Now, but, okay, I know Chris is here somewhere standing tall. There he is, I see him now. Chris also creates pathways for students who are doing things to build better lives for themselves. And a lot of that is due to Chris Cannell. 630 local jobs have been filled by Hamilton City School students. 130 local companies have hired these students. So thank you, Chris, for preparing these high school students for a work life. That is worthy of applause. Okay. Now for the Sammy Broyles Miami University Regional Report. The Work Plus program. Students work for local companies. They earn a degree. They get their tuition paid. And as you can tell, they're partners. Community First Solutions, Great Miami Valley YMCA, Kettering Health Hamilton, ThyssenKrupp Bilstein, Butler County Health Department. Thank them, but let's also join them. The Early College Academy. Seniors earn a high school diploma, but also an associate's degree, a college degree. And that is free. So now those are pathways for city success as well as personal success. All right, who are these two folks? I think some of you probably know them. Two Lindenwold residents, mother and a daughter. One's a city intern. The other is a Chamber of Commerce member. Alyssa Myers, the daughter on the left, she's graduating, I believe, from Miami University Hamilton soon, majoring in applied biology, which I don't know if I could spell. She's our urban forestry intern here in the city. She's a member of the tree board, possibly the youngest member ever of our Hamilton tree board. Jessica Cope, now she created something called New Beginnings Dental Assistant Academy. Now she's working with Ohio Means Jobs, Dr. Moss, other folks to give people an opportunity to develop career pathways. So I gotta say, way to go, Alyssa, way to go, Jessica, way to go, Lindenwold. All right. We often get asked questions, us on council, what about that traffic? You know, I hear it every day, and it's a legitimate question. But as you can tell, this is a Richard Engel Traffic Engineer Report, page 1. Significant timing change, which is great. Reduced travel times, delay, and overall congestion. And like all smart engineers, you continue to collect data. You continue to change it. You continue to modify things. So that's what's going on, and it is a success. All right, more about safe, efficient traffic flow pathways. Rich Engel Traffic Report, page 2. This is an intersection in need of professional help for safe driving. And that's for all of us. That's for students. That's for folks who live in the city. So what have we been talking about? All right, the solution appears to be New London Road intersection roundabout. And it was well received, I believe, from New London neighborhood. Provides safer intersections, eliminate angle crashes, provides traffic calming, speed reduction, reduces delay, potentially eligible for grants. So thank you, City Engineer's Office and all the folks who worked on that, because that could be a solution to a problem. All right. At the same time, the city is building a new firehouse and building a new criminal justice center. And also, we're buying some fire department vehicles as well. You know, those are a couple excellent career paths: public safety, police, and fire. These new buildings will be great for training and doing the job of law enforcement. And I know Frank Fearman is here. Steel studs, I believe, for the criminal justice building are using Matandy and Jay Linro's steel studs. So, now, okay. All right, this is not a football team, but these guys could be one heck of a tough football team. They are trained in city fleet management. Totally, they have earned, I believe, 159 ASC awards, which is Automotive Service Excellence, and they're doing more in-house work, which is good for all of us taxpayers. The team is also, I believe, in the top 50 of all fleets in the United States, and another great career path as well. Okay, stable rates, reliability, great response time, our Hamilton utilities. Hamiltonian Magazine, I love this word, called our utilities self-propelled. Not propelled by others, propelled by us, because we are the owners of those utilities. Let's talk about careers, and there are a lot of careers in our utility department. I want to mention our water operations manager, a guy named John Bowie. His career path is really, I think, amazing. Escaped Vietnam in the 1980s, graduated from Hamilton High School, graduated from Miami University, then started working in our water department. He's had a 30-year career and has been involved in making the world's best tasting water. I would cheer him right now if he is here, but John Bowie. And kind of a bit of a tease here. In electric, linemen, great job to have. Our city linemen have helped power up homes that are unpowered in the Navajo Nation. So that's Hamilton going really all around the United States to do positive things. And you'll hear more from Edwin Porter, our Department of Infrastructure Executive Director. All right. Now, wouldn't it be great if these bank drive-through machines just kept continuously having money fly out of them? Or dog treats. I mean, either one would be great. But you know, that just doesn't happen. Okay? Our city finance department and our other departments have to secure grants, no-interest loans, low-interest loans, all kind of creative ways to get financing. Your city administration and city council, Vice Mayor Michael Ryan, Council Member Eric Pullman, Council Member Carla Fear, Council Member Tim Knabb, Council Member Susan Bond, and Council Member Joel Lauer have been great stewards with city money and taxes. That's a 1935 photo of the Hamilton Finance Department. The gentleman in the vest and the long sleeve is Dave Jones. Okay. I always get asked, how's Spooky Nook doing? And I'm down to about 3 words now. I put Spooky and Nook together and say, Spooky Nook is successful, okay? So thank you, Sam, and your team. Okay. That's the Eagle Brewery in 1896, and that's an eagle on top of that building. I thought that was kind of cool. I always seem to quote Jim Goodman at every State of the City of Brewworks, and he says, Hamilton water is not too hard, Hamilton water is not too soft. But what I see, stay tuned for more industries wanting to use our water, and that'd be new industries, new jobs, and that would be great for our city. Now, before I go into what this is, hire a vet, You're hiring somebody who's got a work ethic and a great team member. This is the Veterans Banner Program. It's a great program, been very successful. Many cities want to copy us. Thank you, Jack Whalen, Tim Knabb, Chris Haynes, Ken Callahan, and Dan Bates for this great program. Now, Hamilton lost 4 special veterans in the last 12 months. Jack Hirsch, city manager, William Merritt, an engineer, but also a Hamilton Public Utility Commission member. Martin Sizemore was a police officer in Oxford for a number of years, and Dr. Albert Miller, an optometrist and Holocaust educator. That's over 300 years of public service, and what great pathways they carved for those who followed them. Okay. Hospitality jobs, small business jobs are so important to our city. We had a Hamilton Hospitality Week. Hamilton's Urban Backyard is shown there, and other local pubs. Celebrated Hamilton. I want to thank Urban Backyard for inviting me. It was a great event, and they celebrated local. Which was great. All right. You've got to take a path to recreation as well sometimes, a quality of life path. And I believe in a positive domino effect. That's a photo of River's Edge 11 years ago. River's Edge was a big domino, and later on Markham Park was as well, that started the Brew Works, the Markham, the new hotels, the downtown development, Main Street development. And all that success with a Joshua-led city administration brought us such worldwide stars, superstars as Spooky Nook, 80 Acres, and so many others. All right. We all know the Simon and Garfunkel song. The words of the prophets are written on the subway walls. Well, the words of those who really know music, their words are written on their T-shirts. I'm not sure if you can see that. It says, River's Edge is greater than River Bend. All right, I'm going to go a little bit faster here. Thank you, Brad Baker, Municipal Brew Works guys, and Anne Marie, for the unique partnerships you have created for this city, and they are unique. All right. Take your taste buds down a different path. Try Mercy's Indian cuisine. It's great stuff. For some inspirational moments, meaningful moments, walk in the Reverend Martin Luther King March in January each year. It will get you focused on really important things. Gotta love those Street Spark murals. Thank you, Street Spark Committee, for those. All right. Please support our local social service agencies, including Boys and Girls Club, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and the others. Here's what's really cool. 17 Strong just gets stronger and stronger. That neighborhood summit was amazing. 17 Strong is a pathway to neighborhood success, which leads to city success as well as personal success. All right. Steve Timmer. I'd love to have had your picture up there somewhere, but I didn't get it. This is Potter's Golf Course. It is a city asset. Voted best golf course in Butler County in a Journal News poll. It's in great condition, record revenues, and there are some free city souvenirs at that golf course. The mayor's lost golf balls. The mayor's lost clubs. And you get the idea what is out there. I want to thank Amy who helped me out with this slide, what I'm doing up here, whatever it's called. I want to thank, that's a good question, that's a real statement there. I also want to thank Mallory for fine-tuning it. This is a North End event that's happened this last Saturday. A bunch of parents got together, had their children out there, and they were playing kickball at the ball fields. And you had folks with video in there with their cell phones and taking photos. But that was just kind of a real neat event. This happened just last Saturday. All right, now for a man who plays a mean game of kickball. He is the architect of our success. Xander? No, it's Joshua Smith.
All right. Am I on? Ooh, I'm on. So I had this vision. I was getting so excited. I was like, I might do a cartwheel, like a backflip, and come up here. But honestly, I had a BLT at Gina's today. I can't even button my coat. You aren't going to be seeing any backflips today, trust me. But, all right. I was about ready to say thank you to the mayor, but I got some sinister photos to show you of the mayor here momentarily, so we're going to save those. So the theme tonight is Back to the Future. And it's going to include some interesting things. Back to the Future over and over again, but the first one is the fact that we're at the Marriott, which is where I did my very first State of the City address. And by the way, I think I found out about it the day before my first day. Kenny Craig at the Chamber said, "Are you ready for your State of the City?" I'm like, what is that? I don't know if Larry Fear is here or not, but I literally sat at Ryan's Tavern until like 11 o'clock that night preparing a State of the City address. I've got a slide about Rocky versus Blanton's. I've got the Secret Seven, which will expose the mayor and his cronies versus the real seven. Wow. And I've got 3 Coach Prime quotes. Oh, yeah. Gene, get up, do a little dance. I can't. I should have done like a cartwheel, but you can dance? All right, don't take my shine. All right, here we go. 80 acres. Mike Zelkin is in the back right now, and thank God because, yes. Mike has visitors literally from Europe in town. He's supposed to be at dinner. I'm like, please stay for the first few minutes because it was important. First of all, because I want Mike to understand we don't take you for granted. We don't take 80 acres for granted. We're thrilled you're in Hamilton, Ohio, and we know that you could go anywhere in the United States. Thank you for being here. You may have seen in the news that 80 Acres opened a new vertical farm in northern Kentucky. I was a little salty about that at first because that nice-looking gentleman with a really nice suit and tie, his name is Rocky. And Rocky was, oh, Mike, we love Mike and Tisha and 80 Acres. They're an Ohio company, but we're going to make them a Kentucky company. No. So I see Mike is taping this right now. I got a little message for Rocky in Kentucky. You can have one 80 Acres vertical farm in Kentucky as long as you keep shipping that sweet juice known as Blanton's up to Ohio, because that is where Mike and Tisha drink. We drink in Hamilton, Ohio. Rocky? All right. The Secret Seven. Mayor, I'm sorry. It has to be done. Has to be done. So for the longest time, people told me, they're like, what is going on? How are these city decisions being made? I'm like, well, I think it's city council. But look at the mayor's body language. This was my first clue. Why is he not looking at the people with the scissors? Why would I go to the bar, him and the panda are having a drink at the bar? So there's the first 2 of the Secret Seven. Hollywood. Look at this. Look who's behind Hollywood. Xander. Those 2 are always together. The panda, the mayor, Xander, Hollywood. But this next one, this breaks my heart. I get a call from Jane Jacobs one night, and she says, I have security footage that's troubling. And she says, I'm just going to have to send it to you. Why is my wife and my chief of staff, Aaron Huffer, on Monty's Vespa at 2 a.m. in the morning? So all of this is confusing to me. I'm trying to tie all this together. I'm like, Xander, Joe Holly, the mayor, the panda, now my wife and my chief of staff. I'm like, what is going on? Who could be the mastermind behind this? Should have known. The sheriff. So the only question left, is, what was the sheriff doing to get them in? What was he doing? Then I figured it out. Wardenburgers. He was giving them free Wardenburgers, and that was all it took to get those 6 to fall into his trap. All right, all kidding aside, Tim Nab, Susan Vaughn, Carla Fear, Pat Mueller, Michael Ryan, Joel Lauer, Eric Pullman. Give them a round of applause. Because show me one other government that is not highly dysfunctional at this point. I mean, I am so proud of this group because it doesn't matter if they're a D or an R, it doesn't matter, what their passions are. It's always about Hamilton residents and businesses first. So for that, I say thank you to them. They're doing a fabulous job. Oh, I went a little fast. Listen, I saw John Kirsch. Where's he at? That's his fault. He gave me some Rabbit Hole bourbon for my birthday, and it's open in the back right now. But so the one thing I don't ever get that man a refill. But the one thing I have not done in the past, and I should have done, is we have a 4-person executive leadership team, 4 executive directors in the city of Hamilton that really have done a lot of the hard behind-the-scenes work. And all 4 sort of goofy photos for them, so I just want to go through. So Tim Wordman is our Executive Director of Internal Services. So Tim, wherever he's at. Tom Vanderhorst is our Executive Director of External Services. Edwin Porter, listen, you should feel good, like when you flush your toilet or you turn your lights on, that this man is running all your utilities for you. Edwin Porter. So I had to dig really deep into the archives to find a photo of Scott Scramese that was silly, and this is the only one I could find where he was acting silly. There he is. But Scott Scramese, our Executive Director of Public Safety. Listen, Scott's the only one that's not here tonight, and I know I would embarrass the hell out of him if I said this with him here, but this man is amazing. I mean, the work that he does is unparalleled, so thank you, Scott. Oh, Tommy John, Hospitality Week. Tommy, you saw me make, at least 40 Old Fashions that night, right? 45, thank you. I made one for Tim Wordman, and I forgot the bitters. And I forgot maybe the bourbon, so he was not very happy with me. But he said it tastes very sweet. I'm like, well, that's probably because I only put the sweet stuff in there. But so leadership philosophy. Let me just break it down as simply as I can. T-Bone Malone, Terry Malone. So when you think about Terry Malone, you probably think about like a Vince Lombardi, and their leadership tenets were very simple. It was built around discipline, organization, attention to detail, repetition, and when I think about how we try to lead at Hamilton, it's the old Jesuit principle of freedom within discipline. You try to build a discipline framework around what you want to accomplish, but you have to let the employees do it. So we have some incredible, incredible city employees, and we talk about the mayor and council who are awesome. We talk about our executive leadership team, except for Tim Wordman, they're all awesome. But hold on, I'm going to come to you guys in a second. But really, can we just give a round of applause to all our city employees? If you're a city employee, stand up right now. Maxwell, what are you drinking?
Bud Light.
Oh. Marcus, don't let him drink that. Come on. I can tell. But, all right. So why? Let's answer the why. Why does the city of Hamilton take things as seriously as we do? I mean, how could you do anything but when you have amazing small businesses in your community, but do everything you can to make them successful? So if you're a small business in Hamilton, will you stand up tonight, please? Thank you. We even have some of the OGs on here. Some of them have been here for years. I mean, you think about Jollies and Richards and Flubs and Gina's, and I mean, all these that have been around for a long time. Thank you to all of them because they're amazing. Also, that's right. I saw a couple people from Milliken Fitton here. Think about Milliken Fitton. The dude had to get on a horse in 1840 to go to get his pass his law exam. And Milliken Fitton has been in this town for what, like 160 years or so. That's amazing. That's unparalleled. So thank you. I saw Pastor Lewis here at the Presbyterian Church. Not only have they been here I don't know, 200 years? 1810. But thank you for always keeping your facility looking beautiful. I mean, it's such a prominent location in downtown Hamilton. It always looks great. Thank you. All right, so success cannot be measured just in bricks and mortar alone. Obviously, it's about something else. So I was never great at math, but I'm going to give you an equation. My staff hates this because it's on my dry erase board, and sometimes they erase it and I have to write it back up there. But y equals the function of x. So if y is the outcome that you're trying to achieve, and that it's a function of different variables of x1, x2, x3, so if the outcome is having a successful city, if that is y, then the very first variable has to be people. I mean, you don't have anything without people. And when you think about the people in Hamilton, and you think about how we've been around for 230 plus years, it's because of the people. So when you look at this is the neighborhood's first annual summit that was at Miami Regionals. When you look at a 17-strong event over at the Hub, when you think about people like Tommy Long and his staff. Is Tommy here? Oh, man. Listen, Braden's socks have holes in them. Can you give him some of them, more of them lemon grenade socks, please? Brad Baker over here. I should say Citizen of the Year Brad Baker and his wife are here tonight, but who doesn't love Unsung Salvage and what they've brought to Main Street? Yes, I mean, and what Sherry and her husband have done. But this is what makes a community. Hold on a second. Nico, I know your grandma's here. Where's she at? I don't know. Vicky, are you here? Where's she at? Nico, go get your grandma at the bar, for God's sakes. But what you see there are some of the most dedicated volunteers. And so Vicky lives in East Hamilton, and what she does every day, I mean, a lot of people would not do it. I mean, that's why I wanted to make sure I called her. I think she was watching The Price is Right yesterday morning. I'm like, listen, we got a ticket for you, you got to be here. But I mean, everyone on that screen, I see Peggy and others, thank you. Bob, I mean, thank you for what you do. Amazing work. All right, I'm going to take a moment here. I'm going to call my Baden boys up. Come on up. I promise them I'm going to, listen, can you get them on the TV just for a second? Get up here. Listen, Chad dressed up really nice for this event tonight. Come over here. We got Chad, Nick, Alex, Braden, and Nico, all seniors. So since fourth grade, I've watched these guys do everything from FOSC soccer to Sacred Heart basketball to bowling and whatever else you guys have been doing. But actually, I saw these two sort of underdressed in my front yard the other night because it's Nerf Wars right now. So apparently, if you don't have clothes on, you can't get shot. What's the rule?
Can't get shot.
Oh, yeah, you only can get hit with a Nerf football, not a pellet or something. But anyway, all right, go sit down. Paige Hufford, where's she at? Paige, where's she at? Huff, is she really not here? Listen, I had a gift card. I'm going to give it to someone else. Today is Paige's birthday, and I felt bad that her husband's sitting in the back running my slideshow for me right now, but you tell her she didn't show up, no gift card. All right, there's my wife. Fran, stand up for a second. Stand up. Hold on. Stay right there. Stay right there. You get a gift, too. You get a Gina's shirt. And a Gina's gift card because I'm going to need to go out and have dinner after this is over, so come here. 10 years she's been coming to these. And I like things to be done in a very congruent fashion, so the fact that Sarah Vallandigham is sitting next to her 10 years ago, or 10 State of the Cities ago, I had Fran come in, and I'm like, who am I going to sit her with? I'm like, I'm going to sit her with the other redhead in Hamilton. But and I love the fact that 10 State of the Cities later, she and Dave, and Sarah, Dave, and Fran are all sitting in the front row, so thank you. All right. Now to the meat and the potatoes. In the beginning. So I did a lot of research. I love Hamilton history. It's something that fascinates me. Obviously, we started as a fort in 1791, But the growth in Hamilton was really exponential for years. And as you go and look through some of the photos, the fact that Cincinnati Brewing Company, that facility was on Front Street in Hamilton, in 1830 was that size. It was incredible. In the 1830s, city leaders said we need to build our own energy source because it was too expensive to keep bringing coal and wood up from Cincinnati for steam energy. So they built the hydraulic canal and they created their own energy, and that led to things like Beckett Paper, which was the first paper company west of the Allegheny Mountains. Then you look at something like Niles Tool Works. I mean, we were literally, as the mayor said earlier, we were an industrial juggernaut, and it was based mostly on the ingenuity of people that lived in Hamilton. 1890, we started our own natural gas utility, which we still own today. 1893, we started our own electric utility, which we still own today. In the 1890s, I don't know if Lee Parrish is here tonight, but O.V. Parrish and Lazard Khan brought Mosler Safe here. They created what was known at that time as the Hamilton Business Syndicate. So let's put this in perspective. They offered $85,000 in cash and 40 acres of land to bring Mosler Safe from Cincinnati to Hamilton. If you just use an inflation adjustment, $85,000 in cash in 1890 is $3 million in today's dollars. And these were private funds that they used because they understood for East Hamilton to expand and grow that they needed an anchor. And what happened when Mosler Safe came? Herring Hall Marvin came right behind them. So what did this lead to? This led to unparalleled success in the city of Hamilton. Mercy Hospital was built, and that project was finished in 1902. At least this version, or at least the building on the right-hand side of the screen, was built in 1902. And these funds that built this hospital, this wasn't hospital funds. This was money that was donated by the Hamilton community that built this hospital. And that addition that you see on the left, the more modern-looking addition to the left, that was built by the Committee of 100 in 1910 that raised money for the YMCA. And after they raised it for the YMCA, yes, the YMCA that's still downtown, they were so successful, they took one additional day of fundraising and they raised enough money to build that addition. You look at Mosler Safe, you look at Herring Hall Marvin, you look at the Champion Coated Paper Company, which was the largest paper company, coated paper company in the United States in 1910. I mean, Hamilton, Ohio was on a roll. Schuler-Benninghofen Mill in Lindenwold. The Rentschler building was built in the early 1900s in downtown Hamilton. When you think about the Rentschler family, the fact that that two of the sons out of the Rentschler family, one of them became what was the president and CEO of what is now Citibank, and the other one became the president and CEO of United Aircraft. I mean, it's incredible when you look at our history. There's the Committee of 100 that raised the money for the YMCA and for the hospital. I mean, the Committee of 100 that was created, James Cullen, that was eventually the president of Niles Tools Work, that actually had a house on South D Street in Rossville. It was so successful, it was noted like in the New York Times. It was noted across the United States as a blueprint for other communities to do. I mean, you look at some of the shots of downtown Hamilton, early Hamilton, that's a 1930 shot, you can just see, I mean, how booming we were. So we get to World War II. And coming out of World War II, that is when the United States saw some of its greatest expansion. But what happened in Hamilton? We missed it. Instead of after World War II booming like a lot of areas did, we felt a lot of post-industrial pain. Suburban flight, we had lack of investment, some bad decisions were probably made. I just threw that in there because I like Tricky Dick, but so how many of you knew that the U.S. Constitution was actually housed in a Mosler vault? Yeah, several of you did. And this is actually this is the working model of the vault that they built that was in Washington, D.C. So every night they would lower the U.S. Constitution into a secure vault. And this is Richard Nixon looking at that. And this model, by the way, is actually in German Village, currently in Hamilton, Ohio. But some of the decisions, Interstate 75, when it was being constructed, I've heard some urban legends about why we didn't get Interstate 75. Someone told me that there was a Hamilton High was in a playoff football game and all the business leaders went to the game. I've heard that some of the business leaders in Hamilton simply didn't want it because it might bring a negative union influence into the community. Whatever it was, we didn't get it, and that was something that probably caused us some pain over the years. Also, Jack Welch, who's the former CEO of GE, he always talked about the need, if you're a chief executive, that you have to peer around the corner. You have to see what's coming before anyone else sees it. Well, the one thing I think we missed a little bit was post-World War II, people wanted some space. They wanted two-car garages. They wanted a little land. So you see a lot of these more suburban subdivisions that were being built. And what that did was it created some urban flight out of Hamilton into some of the townships around us. The other thing, just combing through history, you see a lot of business leaders, a lot of civic leaders in Hamilton that began to die. This one, it was fascinating to me. I didn't realize that William Beckett was the 8th member of his family to serve on the University Board of Trustees at Miami University. The 8th member. I mean, that's incredible to have one family have that type of legacy at Miami University. And then you start getting into some of the articles about companies that left. This one caught my eye because when you read through the article, again, I was never here when Ohio Casualty was in Hamilton, but when you look about when this article came out in 1999, that they were having financial problems, but they went and spent $33 million to buy a building in Fairfield 5 miles to the south, which makes, in my mind, absolutely no sense. But we lose Ohio Casualty. Then we start losing Champion Paper. So International at that time had the headquarters on Knightsbridge, still a going concern on South B Street. This one caught my eye because, it's the quote was, "It won't stay vacant very long." Well, guess what? It stayed vacant for quite a long time. But so Champion Paper leaves. Then Mercy Hospital announces they're leaving. In 2001 also. I mean, in a very compressed time frame, some of the largest, most iconic employers in Hamilton are leaving. The Mosler Safe also in 2001. So you think about Mosler and what that meant to the community when that was brought here in the late 1800s, and here we are in 2001, now they're shutting down. You go down Fifth Avenue in New York City, it's incredible how many Mosler safes are on the exterior of the buildings. They must have, I can't imagine how big Mosler was at that time when they were in their heyday. So what does that lead us to? So in my mind, if Hamilton was personified, if Hamilton was a person, and they looked in the mirror after these articles, that's what I think was probably looking back at them. Honestly, think about it. You lose, 5, 6, 7, 8,000 jobs? And I'm thinking in 2001, it's like, what do you do? And, when I talked to a lot of people, there was like this certain amount of resignation that sort of settled in around Hamilton. And when you think about, for 125 years at least, Hamilton was like on the cutting edge. Hamilton was the leader. Hamilton was producing everything from safes to paper. And it took a little turn for the worse. Downtown is, a lot of it's just boarded. Properties are looking bad. Main Street, pretty empty. Champion Paper, once, for how many generations, how many families for generations worked here, how many Little League teams, how many bowling teams, how many whatever came out of this facility, and it was left to look like that? But, why? I don't know why everyone's laughing. Just this is a transition slide. Is all it is. You got to say that. But Hamilton, and I believe it was around 1999, created the Vision Commission. So Hamilton's like, hey, we're not going to go lying down. We're gonna fight this. So the Vision Commission was established. I don't know. Is that Tommy? Is that your office? Yeah, I figure if there's a stormtrooper in the window, it's probably Tommy's office. But everything was Back to the Future except for this one. I had to throw a Star Wars reference in. But, Hamilton Strikes Back, right? They weren't going to take this lying down. The foundation, Craig Wilkes, a group of people came out and said, we're not going to let the building we're sitting in right now, which was at the time was the Hamiltonian, was going to shut down. They wouldn't let it go. They fought back, got the Marriott. 2008, that opens. When you look at that postcard, you look at some of the iconic buildings in that postcard that came out in like the 1920s, 1930s, most of those buildings are still standing today. And the foundation, again, when you think about who's been a partner to the city, the Hamilton Foundation, huge. I just put that photo in there because Jacob Stone was in it, but and I yelled at him in this very room like 6 years ago for like misspelling a word in the slide deck for State of the City. So I feel bad about that, Jacob. Don't think about it. I don't. And you got to give City Council a ton of credit because they focused on job creation. They focused on neighborhoods. They focused on infrastructure. They focused on amenities and public spaces. They made those their strategic priorities. And a lot of the effort you've seen that last 10 or 15 years is because City Council dug deep and said, we're going to change this. And they did. And you got to give City Council a ton of credit because there's a lot of cities, a lot of governments that they spend more time fighting than they do doing. This City Council does stuff. True West. I mean, when you think about the small businesses that started opening up, True West was one on Main Street that was huge because at that time, no one was doing anything on Main Street. The MBW guys, for what they did. Now, I do give credit to Jody Gunderson for keeping them open long term because he's been known to have a pint or 44 or so at night, but these guys are incredible. And the mayor said it earlier, it's the small businesses that band together that have been doing things. I mean, you got to love our small businesses. You know, Pullman Lanes, I mean, you have all these businesses that have been opening up and they've been creating so much energy for the community. Unsung Salvage, we talked about them earlier. Sarah's House, oh, there's my wife again, I know you're in that photo. But, I mean, River's Edge, I mean, these are things, I mean, these are the building blocks of what we've been seeing. And again, when you think about the people part of it, it doesn't happen without people. You have to have people. And you can build all the bricks and mortar you want, but if people don't want to be there, all you got is bricks and mortar. So the people that are here tonight, the people that are putting their money into their businesses, the people that go to a concert, the people that support our small businesses, thank you, because without you guys, nothing happens. Council then switched over and yes. Hey, there's Danny Crank in the back row. Hey, Danny. Danny Crank once said a prayer at the State of the City, and I think it cursed me because it was like my worst one I ever did. But I love Danny Crank, though. I don't blame you. I blame myself. But the Hamilton Parks Conservancy, Steve Timmer, and the current board, but thank you to them for taking something that was a liability in our community and turning it into a positive asset. I mean, look at this. I mean, and I got some slides here in a second, and I'm going to finish. But when you look at what this pad was before it was Markham Park, and you know, and thank you to Joe and Sarah Markham that when John Gaduli and I went down and met with them, that they so generously gave $4.5 million out of their foundation to help fund this park. Oh, Paul Hoover, where'd he go? He's over there. Oh, there he is. You got the stash back tonight. That made me so happy, But we have a whole new crop of leaders in Hamilton. And I mean, I just have a few. I mean, I see so many more in this room tonight. But Brett Kirkpatrick at Community First Solutions, Paul Hoover at Kettering, Greg Crawford and his entire crew. I know Dr. Andy's here tonight. I know Sammy's here tonight. But you can feel this energy. People are passionate about Hamilton. They want to invest in Hamilton. They want to do things in Hamilton. And for that, let's give them a round of applause. So thank you for caring about Hamilton. Which gets us now back to the future. So I'm just going to blitz through these pretty quick, but Champion Paper, again, this is a photo or a postcard from about 1910. That's what it looked like. Now when you go inside, you see this. And this is pretty incredible. And I know we got our some Spooky Nook folks over here tonight. Thank you for being here. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I talked to Sam Byler on the phone today. He was in Nashville going back to Pennsylvania, but he told me that that next season they're booked almost every weekend. I mean, he's excited. You're going to see a lot of investment on that site here in the next 12 months. But again, when you think back, that's where we started, and we're already here, you know that we're only going to keep going up. So thank you for that investment. You think about the block, the Mercantile block. In 2010, when I got here, it was still pretty much shut down. Today, I mean, it's packed, and it's to Steve Kuhn, who made an initial investment in the historic Mercantile lofts. It's to Phil Wong and now the Mercy folks that have opened the restaurant, to Sarah and Dave that are in the building next to it. I mean, that's pretty incredible. But when you think about the building next to it, which is, I hope you don't mind, Sarah and Dave, I used some photos of the inside of your house, but this is what their family room kitchen area looked like when they started. Look at that. I mean, isn't that amazing? If there is a blueprint at a smaller scale, I mean, this is the blueprint. Fortunately, we lost the building to the left, but we still have the building to the right. But again, it's all about one step at a time. How do we take... I wasn't here when the Maramid was... Anyone remember the Maramid? What was that? It was a gift shop. Gift shop? All right. Well, when I came here, it looked like that. And there was like a Hillary Clinton thing like in the window. It would scare you when you went by. Listen, I'm not because of Hillary Clinton, but just because it was like you thought like a human being was looking at you. God, that came out wrong. I did not mean that. Bill Clinton, do not be mad at me. I was not making fun of your wife. But seriously, it was just a weird sort of rundown place. I honestly thought the only way to salvage this was through demolition. Look at this today. Thank you. Thank you, guys. The Hughes Pharmacy building. I mean, that doesn't actually look bad, but if you would have toured that building in 2012 or 13 when we went through it, it was probably like 1,000 buckets collecting rainwater. It was bad. I mean, it looked like what you see on the left. Look at the photo on the right. Again, this was a core project. Thank you, Mike Dingledine. A core project that took that and turned it into that. I mean, now there are 12 apartment units, obviously multiple businesses in it. But again, today what it is, it's vibrant. It's putting positive foot traffic out on Main Street. It's what we needed. Andy Welter's house in German Village. I love that porch, by the way. But when I came here, that's what that property looked like. I think a lot of people forget 10, 15 years ago what some of these properties looked like. Today, it's that. I mean, it's one after another, just taking these investments. The Miami Motor Car Company I was never here when that furniture store was open, but it's very handsome. But 80 Acres built their very first prototype vertical farm in that building, which is still operational today, and that was a springboard for them to build their 70K facility in Hamilton Enterprise Park, and which is now that they are now replicating in Atlanta, replicated in Northern Kentucky. Hopefully, we're going to be replicating across the world here the next few years. The Strauss Building, David Stark. Again, in 2010, that is what the building looked like. By the way, they had to build that platform for TV Hamilton because they said David Stark stands up and he would block the camera. That's a true story. But look at that. That screams vitality. That screams, hey, we're open. I love these buildings. You know, Mercy Hospital, was a big entity for us, a big business for us for over 100 years. Unfortunately, in 2008, it was demolished. But again, instead of letting it linger, we have this. So we took some lemons, we turned it into lemonade. But this park, again, is one of the central meeting points in all of Hamilton. And without this park, the building that you see to the left that was the Mercy Hospital parking lot never would have happened. What eventually became Beckett Paper, which currently looks like this, which is now in the works. They've applied for historic tax credits for this fall round. Fingers crossed they get that tax credit allocation. Hopefully we'll see some serious progress on this building in the next 12 months or so. The old municipal building was built with WPA funds back in the 1930s. It's stayed in decent shape over the years, but in its new life, it should be a 159-room hotel with a speakeasy, a rooftop bar. Niles Tool Works, that's been a couple different things in its lifetime. Again, was one of the largest tool works companies in the world. For the last 15 years ago, has been Cohen Recycling. Crawford Hoying is now starting. You'll see actually demolition activity this spring. They have a very compressed timeline, so this one will probably go faster than most projects. They have to have phase 1 done by December of 2026. So you're going to see a lot of activity on this site here starting in 2024. Schuler Benninghofen, again, just a beautiful, iconic structure in Lindenwold. For way too long, looked like that, boarded up, roof has fallen in, just a terrible shape. Again, we've been working with a development team out of Cincinnati. They are applying for historic tax credits in the spring of 2024. Over 100 apartment units, 10,000 square feet of retail space, indoor parking, which is a nice feature for someone that lives in an apartment. But again, we have so many projects that are lined up. But if there's an overarching theme here, it's because of the progress that we've made as a community that has gotten us to this point. We probably have close to $1 billion in development that's just pending right now, waiting on historic tax credits, waiting on new market tax credits, waiting on a variety of things. But we would not be at this point if not for the hard work of everyone that's sitting in this room. We've got the train depot that obviously City Council made a very difficult decision to pick up and move because, frankly, CSX was not taking care of it. They let it get into the shape that we see it there. It's been moved, it's been stabilized, more money is going to go into it. We've been working with a couple different end users to go in. If I was a betting man, I'm going to guess it's going to end up being a restaurant of some type, but we're going to keep pushing through. I mean, you can't, when you think about what makes Hamilton so unique, you can't tear down structures like this. As expensive as it is, I mean, you can't go to Westchester and say, well, Abraham Lincoln spoke in 1859 at the back of a train right by this facility, or Harry Truman came through post-World War II and spoke right here. I mean, this is what makes Hamilton unique. The other depot, this was more of the freight depot off of Maple. Meyer Brothers and Sons are in that, working on that now. Actually, I think there's might be even like is there an open house there this weekend? Saturday. The Anthony Wayne. The business leaders in Hamilton knew that to be taken seriously that we needed a business hotel was built in the late 1920s. Around 1960s or so, it turned into senior apartments. Then it turned into other apartments. September of next year, you'll be able to go back into a hotel, its original use, and that's exciting. It's also going to have an Irish pub attached to it. I mean, it's going to be a great addition for Hamilton, Ohio. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm going too long, but these are the last few slides. Second National Bank building, where U.S. Bank was for many years. Cohatch, actually, they started doing some of the interior demolition already. This is going to be some co-working space. It will have a restaurant. It will have a bar. This will be a great addition in the heart of downtown Hamilton, Ohio. Long and Allstatter, I don't know if anyone even remembers where this was at. That was on that site that's now a parking lot. This has been a parking lot for the last 60-plus years. We're going to have a dual Hilton product there with a rooftop patio and a restaurant pad you can see right there. But again, this is going to be a fabulous reuse of a site that's literally been sitting as a parking lot for over 60 years. All right, my first Deion Sanders quote. Why are you concerned about what they're going to say? Do the things you said you would do. That resonated with me. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to people who are like, well, you know, Facebook may not like it, or someone may say something. Who cares? Who cares? If you're saying what you're going to do is going to be beneficial, and you know that, don't be concerned about what they're going to say. Just do it. Let's go, baby, he says. I love that. So that's our next transition slide. Let's go, baby. Renewed civic pride. I took this photo the very first week I was a city manager. I pulled up to a red light. And I'm like, this is the weirdest city I've ever worked in. I've never seen people like hate the city they lived in. The city that offers you nothing. But guess what today? You've got kids wearing just a kid from Hamilton shirt. I love Hamilton. Just a kid from Hamilton. I believe in Hamilton. Hamilton's in the water. Hell, in 1970, said Hamilton's in the water, they would have talked about Kim 9. Not anymore. World's best tasting tap water. 17 neighborhoods of Hamilton. I mean, there is such pride in this community. Brian and Kelly Robinson's shop. Look at this stuff. I mean, whoever thought that you could actually sell stuff with Hamilton on it, and it wasn't Hamilton, the city that offers you nothing. But again, we talked about Markham Park a lot, but I mean, that's where people like to be. Fitness Center. I mean, you have all these tremendous assets in this community that all, when you weave them together, brings you such tremendous civic pride. Wait. Hold on a second. Why is Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce in a photo? All right. This is Xander, I don't know either. Mallory? All right. Listen, I hope you're doing the slides next year. But, all right. So if my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles an hour, you're going to see some serious shit. So Rossville Flats, got the sign up today. Again, who would have thought even 5 years ago that you could build mixed-use development right in the middle of Main Street? Oh, David Stark, looking so handsome. Ciao Vino Wine Bar, right in the heart of our downtown. I was not allowed to give you the name of this one yet, but we are going to have, I was told, you can use Elevated Cocktail Lounge on Main Street. More coming on that one. We have another restaurant that's coming on Main Street. Again, it's a done deal. It's just a matter of they want to handle their own PR, so hopefully in the next 30 days you'll hear about it. But it's this one's going to be amazing. It's a restaurant focused on craft cocktails and wine with a full food menu. So our Main Street is really turning into one heck of a district. We got the Irish Pub coming to High Street that we've already talked about. We've got a burger joint I think a lot of people in Lindenwold are going to be excited about. That's going in the old Raymer building. Putting the final details on that one. Third Eye Brewing. I mean, if you've not been by that building on Route 4, they're doing a killer job. They open up this month. And again, that was the old Pepsi bottling facility that everyone said was just a teardown. What they've done with this building has been incredible. I mean, who thought you could have, I don't know what that says. Slender Man. Hey, who thought we would have a sports bar there? I'm excited about that. I know, I think we've talked about this 3 State of the Cities in a row, but and no, we did not hire some construction equipment to go out there and jackhammer some concrete. This is legit. Fingers crossed, next May you can have an epic taco and a margarita. But this is exciting because we're finally seeing a lot of this come to fruition. By the way, Chris Britt, where are you at? I know you're here somewhere. Stand up for a second. This is Chris Britt. He is the COO for Epic Brands that has agave and rye. I told Yvonne, I'm like, no one's going to believe me if I say it's coming again. So, Chris, thank you for coming here tonight and proving, even though you're wearing that Cleveland Browns hat, but to prove that they are actually coming. This was a postcard from the 1913 flood. I don't know who that man is running. It looks like it's possibly a cross of Brad Pitt and Chris Farley. But the point of that postcard is that, Hamilton has certainly faced tough times in the past. But we've always come out of it better and stronger. So your second Deion Sanders quote. You've come a long way from where you started, but you still have a long way to go within this journey. You don't have time to look back now, time to pat yourself on the back, or time to enjoy the fruits of your labor. All you have time for is proper planning so you can continue to soar and establish new dreams and goals. Let's go. So that, his third quote, win. Thank you.
Breakthrough Advisors, Butler Tech, City of Hamilton, First Financial Bank, Kettering Health Hamilton, Mercy Health Fairfield Hospital, U.S. Bank, and a very special thank you to our presenting sponsor for this evening, Kettering Health Hamilton. I also want to give a special shout out to Pawnee Water for being a great partner with us tonight and providing the water for you to enjoy. We have a great journey ahead of us, but we should be also very proud of how far we've come. I want to thank you for coming tonight and mark your calendars for October 3rd of 2024 will be the next State of the City. Thank you for joining us.